Okay, so this is question 6. In what ways does your media product use, develop or challenge the forms and conventions of a real media product? I think my magazine, especially the cover page, it conforms to the typical conventions of any magazine really. We have the masthead, the cover lines, the main cover line there, and obviously the cover image. I chose that cover image out of a few because I felt she had the most direct gaze, which is important, so it's sort of connecting with the reader as they look at it. And then I had a in sort of a woody nature background, sort of like reflect this indie folk kind of rural sort of sense. I chose to make my music magazine free because the ones that are free at the minute seem to be the ones gaining the larger readership. So that's why there's no barcode on the front, but I've got the free first edition there. I've put my main storyline, cover line, along the bottom. So we've got the artist name, and then the word exclusive, so that's a buzzword. And what I did was, sort of, because the two words began with E, just sort of stylised it a bit. And I have a pull quote, which might not necessarily be in context, so it sort of adds a bit of wonder as to why she said that and what reasons she has behind it. And then over here we've got the cover lines, so I've made win quite bold because obviously it's a draw, especially if there's a competition and they're sold out, Mumford & Sons, because quite a popular band and they've got a large following. I've also got two other bands on there. Sort of if they see the band name, they know they're probably going to enjoy it because a lot of fans are very true to the bands they like and the artists they like. So obviously the masthead, cover image, cover lines are all very stereotypical of a magazine cover, even outside of the music genre. Move on to my contents page. Okay, so we've now got another header just up here, obviously displaying the contents page, and then we have the conventional column layout. What I decided to do is put some subheadings in. So we've got the features, which are the main parts of this article, like what sets it apart from the other ones, and then the regulars. What I also did to contrast the two is I put this black background behind the features, sort of bring them out a bit more. Within the features we've got win, so that's another draw, and then we have got the page number, which is another convention, and then just a little paragraph telling you about what's in each one. And same with the regulars, we've got different different kinds of articles to appeal to the widest audience. So we've got like the charts and like old reviews and things, as well as having the fashion section, which I kind of took quite a lot of my design ideas from Clash magazine, and that itself isn't just music. It also does a lot to do with fashion, because the two come quite close together, because if people see an artist wearing a certain thing, if they're a fan, they'll try and replicate that. The two images I've used, we've got the one for the cover story, so that's made quite clear there. I got a bit of a contrasting image just to show sort of that she can be more personal, as like not as far away as like the kind of composed shot that we have on the front. This is sort of like a candid one, part of the interview, showing that she's a bit more relaxed in that. And then it sort of, I've got a bit of humour in there to sort of appeal to the audience, which is quite like a younger age, so a humour would do that. And then again, another image there just from another article within the magazine with a bit of information about that. Down here we've got a letter from the editor. So it's just introducing the first magazine, telling you a little bit about what's in it, especially with it being the first edition. It's kind of important that the reader knows who they're talking to and who's behind what they're reading. So that's why I've added an image there as well. So I've added a bit more personality to it, and then sort of like a signature. There is a little bit of humour in there again. I think it's quite typical of a contents page. There's nothing that really stands out to me that is different. One theme that I did try to incorporate is this sort of scrapbook theme, so that's why everything looks cut out and there's like labels on everything. I feel as though that might be a convention, like bedroom walls covered in photos and things like that. That's what I've tried to incorporate there. And now my double page spread. Okay. So in my double page spread, I've used quite a large photo to sort of draw the reader into the page. So it's sort of it establishes what it's about. You can tell from that image that it's probably going to be a gig review, as that's what's there. In the corner there, I've used the masthead as sort of another logo, which could be featured on every page, sort of as, you know, house style. And at the bottom, just a banner to sort of break up the plain white page. You've got page numbers there, so you know where you are in the magazine. We've got the band's name there. The font I actually chose to use when I looked back at the website for the band is quite similar to that of that the band use. So I thought that was quite effective. How maybe if they didn't recognise the artist straight away, they'd sort of see that and they'd understand, you know, who the article is going to be about. We've got my standard first paragraph there, giving sort of a roundup as to what's going to be in the article, and drop capital and of convention. We've got this columned layout, which was easier to do on Quark than Photoshop. Sort of just a standard layout. So in there, I've made any artist names in bold, any band names in bold, sorry, and then the artists within that band I've put in italics, so anyone just flicking through the magazine be able to see that name and be more drawn to it, especially if they see it not on the contents page and then see it again in the magazine, they'll be more likely to read it. I have two pull quotes on this page. There's one just halfway through the article. Is this the real life? So it's like a question. It's sort of maybe what's going on there, why is he confused about what's going on, and then when you read it within the magazine article, it does make more sense. And then the second one's up here. It's a quote from one of the band. It's sort of quite comical, draw you into it. And then signed it off with myself, so saying words and images by Zach Walker. And then again throughout the article I've used a bit of humour, quite an informal tone, which I think would reflect, the readers would reflect upon well, because it's sort of more how I would talk to a friend. So it's almost as if they have this kind of personal connection between the writer and the reader, which I thought is quite important to get recurring readership, to have that strength in the bond. In the corner here we've got an advert for the album from the band, and then a link to the website sort of going across platforms. With the advert, I think it's important to make sure that I had one in there, because if the magazine's going to be free, it's going to have quite a bit of advertising space to accommodate for that. Overall, I think all the pages together are quite typical of the magazine genre. I think that the only thing that I would say was possibly different, if we just go back to the cover page, the colour is a bit washed out, and what I was trying to do with that is, rather than have it stand out immediately, have this more like subtle vintage effect, because I think services like Instagram and the like are quite popular with the people I expect to my target audience. So I think they'd sort of appreciate that kind of look, and they'd recognise that that's something that they see a lot. So if they enjoy it, they can pick it up. I think that's it really.